Welcome back to What's the 411 News, where we bring you news observation, interpretation, and news commentary from an FBA and BGR perspective. Let's get it. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to What's the 411 News. Yes, indeed. You guys have heard of, if you haven't heard, you remember the old Good Times show, right? JJ, Thelma, Michael. Then we had the Pops, the Mom, who was James Evans, Florida Evans. Well, they're coming up with a cartoon, or the cartoon is actually, the first episode has already came out. But before this went down, one of the actors of Good Times who played Thelma, Bernadette Stanis, she has some questions in regards to the buffoonery of this cartoon. And a whole host of other people also have had questions in regards to this cartoon. All right? So we are definitely going to get it in and find out what Thelma is having issues with. All right? If you will. And yeah, like I said, there's been a lot of people taking issue with the buffoonery of this cartoon, and it's on Netflix. So we are seeing where Netflix is standing and taking a stand on, right? We're seeing how Netflix is getting down. So yeah, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. So original Good Times star disappointed with Netflix's reboot direction. All right. So Bernadette Stanis, who played Thelma, criticizes the upcoming animated revival's lack of progressiveness, questioning its portrayal of the iconic Evans family and their legacy. All right. So Bernadette Stanis, who starred as Thelma Evans in the 1970s family sitcom Good Times, has shared her opinion on Netflix's upcoming cartoon reboot of the show. She's disappointed that the show does not feel progressive. During an interview with another off news source, Stanis claimed that the original cast was in talks with Netflix about the animated reboot. She said that Jimmy Walker, who famously played JJ Evans, contacted Norman Lear's office, the original show's executive producer, and pitched a Good Times cartoon, including everyone except Esther Rolle. Now, I wonder why he would include everybody except Esther Rolle. Now, before we go on, I know there was some talks that there were some issues regarding some of the actors on the show. And Esther Rolle, I think, was one of them. And the brother who played James Evans, I think they were seeing that the direction was already kind of going to a possible buffoonery type show, and they were against that. So it's kind of interesting how JJ James Walker was trying to pitch a cartoon already, but wanted to keep Esther Rolle's role out of the cartoon. And maybe she, maybe, who knows, maybe he asked Esther Rolle at some point, and maybe she wasn't with it, and so maybe he's just, granting her wishes on that. We don't know, all right? But it's kind of interesting that he would pitch that, wanting to pitch a cartoon before Netflix was trying to get it popping. And he wanted to include everybody except Esther Rolle. All right. So a few months later, I think 6 months later, they came up and somebody said they had a cartoon coming. Stanis claimed. My manager called up Norman's office to see if we were included. I mean, if you're gonna do that, let us know. They said, oh no, it's going to be generations later and it's going to be like progressive or whatever, she shared. But Netflix producer Brent Miller loves us very much, loves me and Jimmy. I know that. He said, I can give you a small role in there. Stanis then saw the trailer and deduced that the Good Times cartoon wasn't progressive. I guess that's her way of being really classy instead of saying that, that the trailer was hood radish. So I guess she didn't want to put it in those words. So she was trying to be classy with it. And that's all good. And maybe she didn't mean that, but it is what it is. A lot of people are saying the first episode was a bit hood radish, where you had a cockroach in the shower. And this is how you're going to portray Black American people. So before we go on, this even shows the total disrespect, how they constantly using propaganda through TV shows, cartoons, through the music to really break down, to really break down Black Americans and their image. So whatever they plan on doing, they can already have people's minds thinking and seeing visuals like, well, hey, this is what they're about. So you got to also understand the play they're using under the guise of making cartoons and making people think, oh, it's a cartoon and that's a real good thing. It's always some game playing going on in the background, right? So again, Stanis then saw the trailer and deduced that the Good Times cartoon wasn't progressive. The trailer showed the new generation of the Evans family still living in the projects and even detailed a drug dealing toddler. And you're going to show kids are going to watch this? This is ridiculous. I'm trying to refrain for what I really want to say and go in on it, as far as the cuss words go. So, I'm going to hold that. Stanis said, when you see something that actually is not progressive, it kind of brings you back into the projects 2 generations later. Thelma had a baby. What happened to that baby? I wanted to be a surgeon. I guess I was. JJ was a famous artist. So you have positive images generations before that, and then all of a sudden you see this. Even though Stanis is highly critical, she is said to have said she can't knock the show because she's unsure what it will be. That's fair. Maybe they'll bring it back to a more positive situation. But when you have the name Good Times on top of that, our audience of 50 years has been really in our corner. They've always supported us. So they were disappointed that they didn't have it more progressive as the way I was told it would be, Stanis said. The animated Good Times is set to premiere on April the 12th on Netflix. The show tackles heavy themes like neurodivergent children, young women's autonomy over their bodies, Black art, and more. All right. So yeah, there you have it, man. That was Thelma or Bernadette Stanis, aka Thelma. All right. So we haven't heard from any of the other former actors of the Good Times show, right? So I wonder if any of them are going to speak out, or are they going to just wait and see how the show progresses, which could be a dangerous thing because it kind of already, Netflix already kind of started off with the hood rat image of the show, of the cartoon. So that's kind of messed up when you think about it. So yeah, you guys let us know what you think about that, man. Put it in the comments. A lot of people say they're not going to continue watching it. Some people actually said they watched some of it and they couldn't watch the rest of the cartoon because of all the nonsense that was in it. So I guess it's going to be, for some, it's going to be a wait and see, and for others, it's just going to be a no-go. They're not going to watch another episode of it. And a matter of fact, there's some people that are actually protesting it and suggest that everybody else protest and do the same as well and don't watch the show. And if they get so much low ratings, maybe they will remove it, so they understand that us Black Americans is not going for the propaganda of putting our images as being bums and living in dirt and living around roaches and stuff like that, while they uplift other ethnicities. All right. So again, you guys let us know what you think about that, man. This is What's the 411 News, and we'll be back with more news pretty shortly. I'm out of here. Peace.
Welcome back to What's the 411 News, where we bring you news observation, interpretation, and news commentary from an FBA and BGR perspective. Let's get it.